All right. Shalom, 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 everybody. Mic check, mic check. Can you guys hear me in the chat? Cool, cool, cool. Okay, shalom, shalom, everybody. It's a Deacon Jonathan, the King James Bible University, and the host of Lordship of Israel, coming straight out of Nassau, Bahamas. Now, before I get into this teaching, I want to make a public service announcement that King James Bible University and host of Lordship of Israel do not affiliate with any Christian group, any Block Street camp, any religious group, or any other group. King James Bible University and the host of Lordship of Israel stands independent. We don't communicate notes, we don't share notes, and we do not compare notes. We stand alone. So now, let's get into teaching, brothers and sisters. As I said, the teaching title, Honor, a Possession of JEHOVAH, the King's Disease. Now, dear brothers and sisters, I'm going to share a story with you about a king. Now, this king was made in likeness by the Almighty, by JEHOVAH. And this king, he was commanded to keep God, to guard, to preserve, and to maintain God's heritage. But however, this king, he was cruel and self-righteous, who sought to reign over the heritage of God, over the people of God, instead of guarding and preserving it. Now this king, he sought to exalt himself above God and all that is called God. He exalted himself above the people and desired to have the people serve under him, on this false belief, on this practices, and worship, which many of the people agreed and forsook the way and the laws of which their father kept from the beginning. Those ancient practices, the ancient traditions, and they had taken on this king's way. Yet, if any opposed him, he commanded them to be put to death. He drive many of God's people in secret places, using his power to persecute many. He was ruthless and full of pride. He rejected the Almighty commandments and set up his own evil strategies against the people. So, brothers and sisters, when you guys follow me on teaching, and we're going to go over in the book of, we start over the book of Genesis. Genesis, chapter 1, let's start at verse 1. And it reads, In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Jump down to verse 2. And the earth was all form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was upon the face of the waters. Jump down to verse 26. Verse 26. And it reads, and God said, let us make man in our image, our shadow, our resemblance, after our likeness, our part and our similitude, and let them have dominion over fishes of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creep upon the earth. So let's look at the framework. Look at the framework, the image and likeness. So Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, it said, God said, let us make man in our image, in the sharp resemblance, after our likeness, after the part and the similitude, and let us have dominion over the fishes of the sea, and over fowl of the air, and over cattle, and over all the earth. So the Father here is speaking unto his word, saying, let us make man according to our resemblance, our pattern. This is not a fleshy composition, but it is a spiritual structure. So let's look how the law directly testifies this. Let's go over in John. John chapter 4, verse 24. And it reads, it says here, God is a spirit. They that worship him in spirit and in truth. Now, that man was not first formed from the dust only, but from the shadow and the resemblance of the spirit. You see, the dust is the vessel. Spirit is the pattern. Let's keep that in mind. Without the bread of life, without the spirit, the dust remains as a lifeless clay. So now, God is going to set a man who's supposed to be in the likeness, to resemble the resemblance of the spirit over the congregation, over the people. Let's go over the numbers. Go over the numbers. Number chapter 27. 27, number 27, 16 and 17. Number 27, 16 and 17. And it reads, let the Lord, the God, the guide of spirits, of all flesh, set a man over the congregation, over the body, over the members. Jump down to verse 27. Jump down to verse 17. Which may go out before them, which may go in before them, which may lead them out, and which may bring them in, that the congregation of the Lord be not as sheep, which have no shepherd. Not a shepherd is JEHOVAH. He's our guide, not man. So we are not to be a ruler over the people. Neither are we the guide or the governor over the people. We don't have authority nor the guide. I mean, we don't even have authority nor guide over our own body. Because we just bought with a price. And our body doesn't belong to us. It belongs to him. And he orders it. And he established it with his judgment, with his justice. For the authority is upon him, upon JEHOVAH, not upon us. He's the head. Go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians, chapter 11. Verse 3 says, but how we know the head of every man is Christ. Go 1 Corinthians, chapter 6. Come down to chapter 6, verse 19. And it reads, verse 19. What? Know you not that your body is a temple of God? Temple of the Holy Ghost? Separate body, which is in you, which you have of God, and you're not your own? Chapter 9, verse 20. For you are bought with a price. Therefore, glory God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah. Chapter 9, verse 6 and 7. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 and verse 7. See here? It says here, for unto us a child of flesh, that's mine, is born. Unto us a son, it's a servant, the spirit is given. And the government, the rule, the authority, the dominion of the people shall be upon his shoulders. Shall depend upon his shoulders. Not that man. Says here, and his way shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Almighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Says here, of the increase of his governance and peace shall be no end, and upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it, to establish it with judgment and with justice. Says here, who's the zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. The zeal of the Spirit of God of hosts shall perform this. Like I said, so all authority, power, dominion, and rule dependent and rested on Jehovah, not us. Let's go over to Ezekiel. Get some more information. Ezekiel, chapter 12, start at verse 2. We can stop to the semicolon. Say, son of man, thou dwell in the midst of a rebellious house, which have eyes to see and see not. Chapter 9, verse 3 says, yeah, therefore, son of man, prepare this stuff for removing, and moving by day in their sight. Jump down to verse 4. It says, yo, then shalt thou bring forth thy stuff by day in their sight, as preparing stuff for removing. And thou shalt go forth at evening in their sight, as they that go forth in captivity. No, stop to the colon, my bad, the colon. Stop for moving, stop right here to the colon. Jump down to verse 6. In their sight shalt thou bear it upon thy shoulder, and carry it forth in the twilight. Verse 7. And I did so as I was commanded, and brought forth my stuff by day, as stuff for captivity. And in the evening I dig through the walls with my hands. I brought forth in the twilight, and I bear it upon my shoulders in their sight. So I say, our duty is to be true servants, watchmen, keepers of his flock. We are not the place, we were not placed in the garden, in the people, to exercise our own dominion over it, not alter anything. We're supposed to safeguard it, protect it, maintain, including uphold the standards of Jehovah. Let's go over to Genesis. Genesis chapter 2. Jump down to verse 15. And it reads, say the Lord, the Spirit of God took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it, to safeguard it. Let's go to Matthew. Matthew chapter 20, verse 15. And Matthew 20, verse 15 says, yo. Says, yo, verse 15. Matthew 20 and 25, my brothers and sisters. 20, 25 down to 27. And it reads, yo, after the comma, you know that the prince, the kings, the rulers of the Gentiles, those heathens, the one separated from God, exercise, they engage in practice, dominion, authority over them, and they that are great exercise, perform authority upon them. Verse 26, it says, but it shall not be so among you, among children of Israel. But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your servant. Verse 27, and whosoever be chief shall be the leader among you, let him be your servant. We can see this with Ezra and his brethren, how they look after the affairs of the children of Israel, not giving their own demands or asserting their own position or rule over the people. But however, they asserted Jehovah's authority to be a watchman, to keep and to perform the law of God. Go over the first Ezra, chapter 8, starting at verse 3. You read here. Says here, first Ezra chapter 8, verse 3. This Ezra went up from Babylon, comparing as described, being very ready in the law and the commandments of the word of truth that was given by God, of Israel. Chapter 9, verse 7 says here, verse 7, for Ezra had very great skills, so that he omitted nothing of the law and the commandments of the Lord, but taught all Israel the ordinance and judgment, doctrine, teachings. Chapter 9, verse 11. And it reads, and many therefore, for the reason, as have a mind thereunto, let them depart with thee, as it has seemed good both to me and my 7 friends, the counselors. Chapter 9, verse 12. Yes, yeah, that they may look upon the affairs of Judah and Jerusalem agreeably to that which is in the law of the Lord. Chapter 9, verse 16. It reads here. It says here, verse 16. And whatsoever thou and thy brethren will do with the silver, the women, and the gold, the men, that do according to the will of thy God. Chapter 9, verse 21. And it reads, verse 21. It says here, let all things be performed after the law of God diligently unto the Most High God, that wrath come not upon the kingdom of the king and his sons. Chapter 9, verse 22. I command also that you require no tax, nor any other imposition, nor any other charge, any other given knowledge or commandments of any of the priests or Levites or holy singers or porters or ministers of the temple, or of any that have doings in this temple, that no man have authority to oppose anything upon them. Jump down to verse 58 and verse 59. 58 and 59. It says here, 58 and 59. And I said unto them, both you are wholly separate unto the Lord, and the vessels are wholly separate, and the gold, the men and the women, is a vow unto the Lord, and the Lord of our fathers. It says here, watch verse 59. It says, watch, safeguard, uphold you, and keep care. God protect them. Till you deliver them to the chief, to the principal of the priests and the Levite, and to the principal, the leading men of the families of Israel in Jerusalem, into the chambers of the house of our God. Like I said, we was to move in the likeness of the Spirit of God, the Word, not in the part and the likeness of men. We was to humble the people and discipline them with the righteous authority given to man by Jehovah, to assert Jehovah's, his authority, his righteousness, doctrine, and teachings in the earth. Let's go over Galatians. Galatians chapter 4, verse 5, verse 6. Galatians chapter 4, verse 4, down to verse 6. It says, young, but when the fullness of time was come, God sent forth his son, made of a woman of a spirit, made under the law. Verse 5, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive adoption of sons. Verse 6, and because you are sons, God has sent forth the spirit of his son into your hearts. Like I said, yet how can the earth, the people, see the similitude, the pattern, and characteristics of Jehovah? If his creation, if man, if this king have put themselves on the same level or above, or same level or above his likeness, comparing themselves to be on the same level as God, and now see themselves as gods and not servants. Let's go to Leviticus. Leviticus. Because we are servants. Also a king, who chief among you, let them be servants, not gods. Watch this. Leviticus chapter 25. Verse 5. Verse 55. It reads here. See here? We stop to the semicolon. For unto me, the children of Israel are servants, including that king. They are my servants. Go Philippians. Philippians chapter 2 and verse 5 down to 8. Philippians chapter 2, 5 down there. You see here, let this mind be in you. Let mind be in that king, also in us, which was also in Christ Jesus. Verse 6, who being in the form of God, thought not robbery to be equal with God. But the king, also us, become puffed up with pride, thinking we equal with God. But made himself no repetition, took him upon a form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. Verse 8, and being found in the fashion of a man, he humbled himself. He humbled himself and became obedient. So when the word came down, he is showing man, he's showing us, he's showing this king, who is made in the image and likeness of God, how we should be operating while in this earth, being a resemblance and following the pattern of his creator spirit, who taught not robbery to be equal to God. So we was not sent to be gods over the earth, but a servant. Go to Matthew. Matthew. Chapter 20. Jump down to verse 28 and verse 29. And it reads, Matthew 20, 28, and 29. It says here, 28. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered, he came to be served unto, but to what? To serve and to give his life a ransom for many. Verse 29. See here? As they departed from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. He followed the spirit that was in Jesus, not the man Jesus. Jesus was just a mirror. He was just walking in the likeness and the pardon, and he was walking in the likeness and pardon. He was as an example of his creator. They say they follow him. They conform to his walk, to his manner, his lifestyle. Are we seeing a difference between how Yahweh is moving and how that first Adam is moving? And how he's moved in this earth amongst the people. Go 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy 3. 1 Timothy chapter 3, 4 and 5. You see here? It says here, one that ruleth well his own house, having his children, having his works, having it practice in subjection, in obedience, with all gravity, with all integrity and order. Jump down to verse 5. He says here, for if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church, the people of God? How? You can't rule your own house, but we can be kings and God over people. Like I said, Jesus, Yahweh didn't conform, neither did he follow this world. He refused to join to his flesh. He understood what his duty was and committed his service unto it humbly. We never saw Yahweh care himself other than being a faithful servant, not a God, over his created flock. And he didn't allow his flesh, his strength, neither his own counsel to press down on him to where it could have led him down the path of the assembly of the wicked to do evil. Let's go second address. Second address. Oh, shoot. Second address. 7, verse 5. It says, yo, who then could go into the sea, into the people in the midst of the confusion and chaos, to look upon it and to rule it, to establish governance and righteous authority in it? So I ask you that. Let's go to Matthew chapter 3, verse 15. It says, yo, verse 15. It says, yo, after the comma. Where is it? After the comma. Oh, shoot. I ain't gonna move it. Matthew chapter 3, verse 15. After the comma. It says, yo, Jesus answered and said, suffer it be so now, for thus it become of us, become of man, becoming the king to fulfill all righteousness. Like I say, man was supposed to come down into the earth and revive it, waken it with the water, with the knowledge of JEHOVAH, and then lift up again. Let's go over to Genesis. Genesis chapter 28, verse 12. And it reads, section verse 12. This Joseph had a dream. And he dreamed and remember a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached the heavens. I remember the angel messenger of God ascending. He rising again, getting up, lifting up, he climbing and descending, coming down. Watch this. Go to John. Watch this. John chapter 3. Jump down to verse 30. Jump down to verse 30. 30 says, yo, he must increase. Of the earth must spring up, must blossom, must grow from what we were pouring into it. With JEHOVAH's knowledge, it must increase. But a servant, but a king must decrease. When we are full of water, full of knowledge of JEHOVAH, we will pour it out, we will pour out ourselves upon the earth. Let's go to Job. Let's go to Job. Let's go to Job. Job. Chapter 5. 10 and 11. Job chapter 5, 10 and 11. See y'all? Who giveth rain upon the earth and send water upon the field, upon the people, to set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted, lifted up to safety from out of slumber. However, we didn't do that. Instead, we came down and stayed joining ourselves unto it and tying ourselves to the same people we came down to help and to lift up out of the deep sleep, out of the slumber. And we joined to our works, which we were instructed not to do. But hey, we did it. Go to Exodus. Exodus. Chapter 23, verse 1 and 2. Exodus chapter 23, 1 and 2. Says here, after the colon. Say, put not thy hand thy power with the wicked to be a what? Unrighteous, an evil, a wicked witness, a wicked follower. Sometimes verse 23. See here? That thou shalt not follow the multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause, in a manner, to decline, to lessen, or shame in our ways, after many, the rest of the twists, judgment, doctrine, teachings. Wherever we have taken this body that doesn't belong to us, and have defiled it with the lust and the want, this sensual and foolish desires of wickedness, mixing of truth and teachings of this world, that exalts and entertains nothing but fleshly pleasures, pride, and death. Go to 1 John. 1 John. 1 John. 1 John chapter 2, 15 down to 17. 1 John chapter 2, 15 down to 17. And it reads right here. He says here, telling us, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. Jump down to verse 16. For all that love the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. Jump down to verse 17. And the world pass away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. So lust of the world pass away. And those who lust after it can pass away with it. And lust thereof. See? Seeing the pleasure of this world, see, the pleasure of the world is a trap. It's a snare, full of confusion, waiting for that unexpected soul to fall right into her. That's those of us who are weak-willed, who like to wonder. Those of us who allow our minds and our strength to be our confidence, to follow and trust in her way, inclining to those things that is in her. We be the ones that will get this be the ones that will get many of us caught up. Because why? She's going to allure us that this is the way. This is where true pleasure is found. So our mind goes to lead us to destruction and pollute himself to the king of terrors with the sins of this world. Let's go over to Job. Let's go over to Job. Job. Chapter 18. Verse 8. See ya? For he is cast into a net, into a snare, by his own what? His own feet, his own desires. And he walked upon a snare, upon a trap. Coming on verse 10. See ya? The snare, the trap is laid for him, for me, for you, for this king. In the ground, in the earth, and a trap for him in the way. Coming on verse 12. See ya? His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. His confidence shall be rooted out of his own tabernacle, his own temple, his own body. And they shall bring him, who? A same counsel, by his side, to the king of terror. Chapter verse 18. And he shall be driven from light into darkness, and chased out of the world. All of the people in Israel. Let's go to Isaiah. Oh, shoot. Isaiah. Chapter 3. Isaiah chapter 3. Verse 12. Says here, Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. See here, as for me, as my people, children, whites are the oppressors, and women, spirit, rule, govern, power, have strength over them. O my people, they which led thee to our own mind, cause thee, cause me, cause you to err, and destroy the way of thy path. Because she can lead you on another path. She can lead me to another path. Like I say, it's our own fault. We have nobody to blame but ourselves. No one forced us to fall backwards in this world. This world just proved us. It told the story about what we really about, what's really hidden inside of us. It shows we never reform or turn from our corrupt ways. Instead, we reward evil. We reward evil unto ourselves. Let's go Isaiah chapter 3. See ya? Verse 9. The show of their counsel, of their glory, their spirit, do witness, do reveal, do declare, tell the story against them. And they declare their sins are Sodom. They hide, they bury, they conceal it not. It says, yo, woe unto their soul, my soul, your soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Like I said, what man didn't keep hidden inside? What man didn't keep sealed? He didn't keep sealed, shut up the very thing that's going to plague him with disease, the same king. And that's flesh, and it's pride. Let's go to Genesis. Let's go to Genesis. 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 Chapter 2. Chapter 9, verse 21. And it reads, Genesis 2 and 21. It says, yo. And Lord called a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and including clothes, he hide, he sealed, he concealed, he imprisoned up flesh, sin, pride. Instead thereof, Jehovah was concealing the works of flesh from man, all those diseases that would make the king sick and eventually die. That's what Jehovah hid from man. We see this over in Tobit. Let's go over in Tobit. Tobit. Chapter 12. Verse 7. Says right here, Tobit 12. See here? Watch this. It is good to keep close, to keep hidden, to keep concealed the secret of a king, but it's honorable to reveal the works of God, the works of the Spirit. Do that which is good, and no evil, no ailing, no sickness, no disease shall touch you. Let's go over to Job. Job, chapter 33, 15. Job 33, 15. See ya? In a dream, in a vision of night, when deep sleep, a spiritual vision, fall upon men and slumber upon his bed. Verse 16, then he opened the ears of men and seal the instructions. Verse 19, he chastened, he disciplined, he correct. Also with pain, no charges and no trials upon his bed, upon his refuge. And the multitude of his bones, his strength, with strong pain, bitter discomfort. Let's go second address. Second address. Watch this. Second address. Chapter 9. Verse 46. Verse 46. It says here. Verse 46. Watch this. And I nourish, convince him with great travail, those trials, those torments. He humble him. Talking about verse 33 and verse 20. Job 33 and verse 20. So that his life abhor, despise, reject, leave off bread, that's those doctrine. And his soul, his spirit, that he does really deceitful, meek doctrine and knowledge. John verse 17. See ya? That he may withdraw man, this king, me, you, from his purpose, and high pride. See, high, and withdraw man from his purpose, from his reason, from his way, his own authority, and shall hide, conceal, seal, bury pride from man, from his king. So man was supposed to leave off from his own way and his own authority to rise up from out of those dead weights and bury them and keep them buried. Not for us to go back to the grave and exhume that disease-stricken body. We are supposed to acknowledge and obey that voice. With what being said, like I said, let me show you a scripture. What we shouldn't have went down. Let me show you, okay, my bad. Let me show you a scripture. What should have went down with the king, with us, when TC fell upon him. Let's go with Tobit, back over Tobit. Tobit, chapter 12. Start verse 12. See y'all? It's deep sleep. Tobit 12, verse 12. My bad. Tobit 12. 12 and verse 12. Says y'all. He said, now therefore, when thou didst pray, and Sarah thy daughter-in-law, I did bring the remembrance of your prayers before the Holy One. When thou didst bury the dead, I was like with thee. Come verse 13. It says here, and when thou didst not delay to rise up and leave thy dinner to go and cover the dead, thy good deed was not hidden from me, but I was with thee. Come verse 14. It says here, and now God has sent me to heal, to cure, to relieve thee, to kill of the flesh, thee and Sarah, thy daughter-in-law. Chapter verse 15. He says here, I, Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, which present the prayer, the confession of the saints, which go in and out before the glory of the Holy One. Let's go with Leviticus. Let's go with Leviticus. Let's go with Leviticus. Watch this, Leviticus. Leviticus, chapter 4, verse 22 and 23. Watch this. 20 and 23. See y'all? When a ruler, when a king has sinned and done somewhat through ignorance against any of the commandments of the Lord, his God, concerning the things which should not be done, and is guilty, say verse 23. Or if his sin, where he has sinned, come to his knowledge, he shall bring his offering, his understanding, and his kid, his work, and his practice of the goat, the foolish, the one lacking understanding, a male without blemish, condition. And say he was to hide nothing. He was to hide nothing. He will acknowledge what he done and bring it forward. Watch this. Jeremiah 3, 13. He says, yo, only know that iniquity. Jeremiah 3, 13. Only know that iniquity that thou transgress against the Lord thy God. So on. For 24. Let's go over Leviticus. For 24. See y'all? 3, 24. Says y'all. Look at 3 and verse 24. Look at 4 and 24, man. Look at 4 and verse 24. Says y'all. And he shall lay his hand, his wisdom and understanding, teaching upon the head, upon the understanding of the goat, of the foolish. And what? And kill, destroy, cut down the understanding in the place where they kill, they cut off the burnt offering, the sin instead thereof, before the sin instead thereof, before in the presence of the Lord is a sin offering. Let's go over to it. Chapter 12, chapter 12, verse 16. See ya? What happened? And they were both troubled and fell upon their face, for they feared. As I said, the spirit he placed in us will be correcting and instructing warning us against the evil set before us and those things that are of it. Like I said, we are fighting against the spirit because all the uncertainties and doubts that are in our mind, our spirit is put into us. So it's going to be a constant ongoing battle in our mind because you have one spirit correcting and instructing you, the whole of her righteous part. And then you have our own spirit, our confidence, and our strength trying to convince us that ain't nothing wrong with us. Convincing us, like I said, convincing us, you don't have to change. You don't have any issue with, like I said, it was everyone else that's around us with the issue. That's how our spirit can tell us. Jumping on verse 17. Says here, but he said unto them, fear not, for it shall go well with thee, with you. Confess God thereof. Verse 18, he says here, for not of any favor of mine, but by the will of our God, our guide, I came. Wherefore praise him forever. Verse 19 down to verse 21 says here, only things I did appear unto you, but I did neither eat nor drink, but you did see a vision. Verse 20 says here, now therefore give God thanks, for I go up to him that sent me. Verse 22, verse 21, and when they arose, they saw him no more. And they confessed the great and wonderful works of God, how the messenger of God had appeared unto them. And it said, that's what was supposed to happen. That's what the king was supposed to have done. But we didn't. We didn't want to detach from the memories of this world. Like I said, instead, we was rebellious. The king was rebellious. And went right back and joined unto our old ways, making friendship and alliance and bonds with the very people that we would pull out from amongst. That rebellious spirit that we have is going to keep us from rising up from out of this flesh, out of this carnal state of mind that we are now stuck into today due to this pride and haughtiness we have. Let's go with 1 Ezra. 1 Ezra 4:25 says here, wherefore, man loving his wife, his spirit, his guide, better than the father, God, or mother, JEHOVAH. Says here, see here? Genesis 2 for 24. Genesis 2 and 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother, cleave unto what? His own wife, his flesh and spirit, and they shall be one flesh. Let's go with Sirach, chapter 10. Sirach 10. Come down to verse 12. It says here, see at the beginning of pride, vainglory, self-will, boasting, arrogancy, uprising, is when one depart from God, and his heart is turned away from his maker. You over. Because why? Pride go for destruction, and a haughty and proud spirit before a fall. They say, we went seeking after other guides and counsel from men that we receive as men of righteousness and understanding. Why? We are simple. We are a bunch of rebellious people, and we don't want to take our and we want to take on our own counsel. We want to take rule of our own body. That's what we say in our mind. That's my body. I know it's good for my body. Like I said, not realizing that this body doesn't belong to us, and we can't do what we want nor fill it with what we want to fill it with. What we do? See here? Genesis 6, chapter 3. Genesis 6, chapter 6 and 1. See ya? And they came to pass, man being my body, face, right? The daughters were born of them. 42. That the sons of God, after rebellious, hard-headed ones, saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, they were pure, they were righteous to our eyes, to our understanding. And they took them wives, spirit of them which they choose. What they did? For his Maccabees, chapter 1, jump down to verse 15. What we did? And made themselves uncircumcised, unsuck the holy covenant, the promised agreement, and join, unite themselves to the heathens, those ones separated from JEHOVAH, and so do mischief. See ya? Beloved, so the Bible please us well. Let's go over to verse 3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive, shall always labor, shall always be at peace with man. For he also is flesh, his carnal is weak, subject to sin. Verse 4. See ya? There were giants, mighty men in the earth in those days. And also after that, when the sons of God came unto, they believed, they trusted the daughters of men, and they produced children the works of them. The same became mighty men, which are of old, men of renown. Go to Baruch. Chapter 3. Baruch chapter 3, 26 and 27. There were giants and famous men from the beginning. They were so great in stature and so expert in war. Those did not the Lord choose, neither give he the way of knowledge unto them. So I'll be going to them. While we were sitting at the table with them, establishing bonds and agreement. I say, envying bring forth death, and pride goeth pride to destruction, and a proud spirit before a fall. Why? Because we went out seeking foreign alliance with the oppressors, choosing his ways. Go to Proverbs. Proverbs. Number 23, 1 down to 2. See, when thou sittest and eat, consider with the ruler, with the king. Consider diligently what is before thee. Says y'all, and put a knife to thy throat, if thou be a man, give it appetite. But like I said, what we do? Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 2, 24. Nevertheless, to envy the devil, give him death. Not let you envy of the devil, creature of confusion, came death into the world. And they that do hold the side do find it. Go to Proverbs 3, 31. See ya? Says ya, envy thou not the oppressor, I choose none other ways. But man only choose, us. We only choose and join to do. We only choose and join to do according to. Let me say it again. But man only choose and join to do according to their will. Whatever fits our mind, our heart desire, is what we're going to hold to and fellowship with. Whatever our heart desire. Watch this. Second address. 12. 13. Second address on 12, verse 13. It says here. See ya? Behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon the earth, and it shall be fair above all the kingdoms that were before it. Go to Daniel. Daniel. Chapter 11. Verse 3. See ya? A mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will. Come on in verse 4. And when he shall stand up, the kingdom shall be broken, and shall be divided toward the four winds of heaven, and not to his posterity, nor according to his dominion, which he ruled. For his kingdom shall be plucked up, even for others beside those. Verse 5, it says here. See here? And the king of the south shall be strong, shall be powerful, and including one of his prince, his kings, and he shall be strong above him, and of dominion. And his dominion shall be a great dominion. Like I say, this is that ruthless, cruel king who shall stand up and rule. His power shall increase and surpass great. He shall be mighty. He shall persecute many, the mighty and the holy people. He shall appoint overseers over the people, and also make many to forsake the laws of which their fathers kept from the beginning. And like I said, they ran to follow the ancient tradition and ran to follow the ancient tradition of men. So many people agreed to the king's false belief, false practice, false worship, including men to establish covenants on the idols, to false gods, among the images that the king had brought in. And whoso would not do according to his commandment, he commanded that they be put to death. Like I said, he drove many into secret places, or wherever they could flee for help at that time. Like I said, he exalted himself above the people in his heart. He shall set up deceitful strategies against the people, and it shall be set up with his own powers. Let's go back over to Maccabees. Where's Maccabees? Where's Maccabees? Chapter 1. Come down to verse 11. It says here, verse 11. See here? In those days, men of Israel, wicked men, who persuade many, say, let us go and make a covenant with the heathens, the covenant breakers that are round about us. But he says over in Exodus, over in the law, he says over in Exodus, in the law, it says here, Exodus chapter 20, verse 17, it says here over in the law, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservants, nor his maidservants, nor his oxen, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Let's go over to Daniel. Back over Daniel. Back over Daniel. Daniel, chapter 11. I'm not in verse 6. It says here. See here? It's prophecy. And at the end of the year, they shall join. They shall unite. They shall league themselves together. For the king's daughter, the offspring, the sons and daughters of the south, shall come to the king of the north and make an agreement. But she shall not keep the power of arm of her strength. Neither shall he stand, nor his arm, but she shall be delivered up. And they that brought her, and he that begat her, and he that strengthened her in these times. It says, so the king of the south ran and made a league with the king of the north, and joined powers, created an alliance and a covenant bond with the king of the north. And they engaged in practice to do acts of sin and violence, to oppress against his people, learn the customary practice of the king of the north. But let the king of the south know that his power that he thought he had, he shall not keep it, neither strength. Go to Genesis, chapter 3. Verse 1 says here, now the serpent, creature of confusion, was more subtle than any beast of the field, which spirit God made. He said unto the woman, it's our flesh, the spirit, which is like the cloud abroad, which can be shaken to and fro with every doctrine. Yea, and God said, you shall not eat of every tree in the garden. Come on, verse 4. Says here, and the serpent, creature of confusion, said unto the woman, you shall surely die. Verse 5 and verse 6. For going out there, you learn thereof, the eyes should be open. It should be as gods, knowing good and evil. Watch verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree, the creature of confusion, was good for doctrine, and that was pleasant to her eyes, and that teacher, he teacher confusion, to be desired, to make one wise, she took the works thereof, and did consider and learn. Give also to her head, husband without. And he did eat, consider, and learn. Like I said, the minute I thought of good and evil came to our mind, we should have gotten rid of it. Cast it out of our body, of our mind. You see, it ain't the thought that's gonna get us caught up in this issue. It's a sitting down, meditating on those thoughts, plotting them out in our mind, and acting out on the thoughts. Get us a problem with the Most High. Let's go over to Matthew. Watch this. Matthew. Chapter 15. Come on. Verse 11. Matthew 11, verse 15, verse 11 says this here. Not that was going in the mouth to follow the man, but it was coming out of the mouth just to follow the man. Come on, verse 17. Says here. Do not you yet understand that whatsoever enter into the mouth, going into the mind, and cast out of the draft, you let the thing go. See ya? But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth out of the heart, and they defile the mind. When you sit on those things, and you melt and you act on things on your, and you think of things on your mind, you act on those things. They defile the mind. They got you. They get us stricken. They get us disease. They kill us. And say, so not only we're in bondage to flesh, we allow flesh to freely glide abroad and carry us into confusion. You see, we allow our mind to have a way. So the king of the south and the king of the north was in one unity, one agreement. They may lead together. See, let's go over Psalms. Says y'all, open Psalms 83. See? For lo, the enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee are lifted up their head for a tree. They have taken crafty counsel. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against the hidden one. Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederates against thee. They engage and make an agreement to trade. Go back over Daniel. Daniel 11, verse 9. It says here. So the king of the south shall come into his kingdom and shall return into his own land. And I say, when the king of the south returned unto his land, he came in deceitfully, gaining their trust, assuring them that an oath, assuring them with an oath, coming to them like a brethren, getting the people to trust in his counsel, which many of us, with many of his enticing words that speak and speaking lies and promises to alert him. They said, his judgment is wrath shall pour out and increase bountifully throughout. Let's jump down to verse 27. See y'all? Both these kings, both of them heart shall be to do mischief. They shall speak lies at one table, where they fellowship together, learn their doctrine, learn their truth, but it shall not prosper. For yet the end shall be at the time appointed. Like I said, so both these kings, they understand their practices and their devices shall not prosper. They both shall fall. These two evildoers, the two evildoers was assistant and also against shoes. The two evildoers, the ones who helped and the ones who assisted and the ones who strengthened them, both of them that wake those acts of sin shall fall together. because they learned of a doctrine and understanding that was not taught or observed, neither followed. Like I said, both of these kings taught that they were gods and were above the people of God. Magnifying themselves and speaking against God and speaking against the God of gods. Still filled with pride, but they both shall be brought low and shall not escape the power of God, neither the just punishment. Jump down to verse 28. See y'all? They shall return in, then shall he return in this land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant, and he shall do exploits and return to his own land. Jump down to verse 26. Says here, and the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself, magnify himself above every god, and he shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is determined shall be done. Come on, verse 37. All the way down to 29. Says here, neither shall he regard the God of his father, nor the desires of woman, spirits, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. But in his estate shall he honor the gods of forces, right? But in his position, in his state, shall he honor, respect the God of forces, spirits, and the gods whom his father knew not, shall he honor with gold and silver, and with precious stones and pleasant things. For 29. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God, who he shall acknowledge and increase with glory. And he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain. Let's go down chapter 8. Watch it. Daniel 8, 24 and 25. See y'all? 8, 24 and 25. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. He shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. For 25 it says here, and through his policies, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall he destroy many. And he shall also stand up against the prince or princess, but he shall be broken without power. Go 2 Maccabees. 2 Maccabees, chapter 7. 7. 16. 2 Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 16. And read it. It says here, then looked he upon the king and said, thou hast power over men, thou art corruptible, thou doest what thou wilt, yet think not that our nation is forsaken of God. The master talk on this king. See ya? For 17. But abide a while, and remember his great power, how he will torment thee, and thy seed. For 19. Watch this. But think not that thou takest in the hand to strive against God, that thou shalt escape unpunished. For 21. For 21. And thou that hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews shall not escape the hand of God. For 34 and 35 and 36 says here, but thou, O godless man, and of all other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up without certain hopes, lifted up thy hands against the servant of God, for thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of the mighty God who sees all things. For 36 says here, for our brethren who now suffer a short period are dead under God's covenant of everlasting life. Why? Because they rather die a righteous death unto Jehovah not to allow flesh to consume them and take over their body with her disease and end up like this king. See how? But thou, through thy judgment, thou through the judgment of God, shall receive just punishment. Why? For thy pride. Go over Maccabees chapter 9. Maccabees. 2 Maccabees chapter 9. 7. It reads here. Says here. Howbeit, this king, he still, watch it, after all this warning he give him, howbeit, he not all ceased from his bragging. What is it? But still was filled with pride. Breathe no fire in his rage against the Jews to follow Christ and commandments to haste the journey. Watch this. But it came to pass that he fell down from a chariot and carried violently, so that having saw fall, all the members of his body were in much pain. Show me verse 5. But the God Almighty, the God of Israel, smote him with an incurable, invisible plague. For as soon as he had spoken these words, a pain of his bowels that was remediless come upon him, and sore torment of his inner parts. Ain't no cure for disease. Like I said, the king got puffed up, full of pride, and of his own vainglory opposed the King of Kings, which is Jehovah. So judgment was rewarded upon him, an incurable disease which shall not be healed. There's no remedy or physician that can cure his sickness now, because when it was revealed to him that he had a disease at that time, and there was a cure, he sought not the cure. Yet the king was slothful, delaying to cut off these diseases, not hearkening unto the warning signs from the beginning, neither respecting the words of the physician that was sent to him at that time. Prior to the king letting the sickness get on hand, and that was a grave decision that the king made. Let's go with Exodus. Exodus chapter 9, 15, actually 9, 49 to 17. See here? Says here. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thy heart, and upon thy servant, and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. For now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. And that very day, for this cause, have I raised thee up, for to show thee my powers, and that my way may be declared to all the earth. Verse 7. As yet exalted thou thyself up against my people, that thou wilt not let them go. Let's go Isaiah. Says here. Isaiah. So about people God. See here? Isaiah chapter 14. Verse 13. He says here. Isaiah 14 verse 13. For thou hast set in thy heart, I was sent. Thou said in thy heart, thy mind, I was sent above the heaven. I was up my throne, my authority, my rule, above the stars, above people of God. So I will sit. I will take authority also upon in the place of the mount, the noble renown of the congregation inside of the north. See verse 14. Says here. I will send above the heights, the high places of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the side of the pit. Verse 11. See here? Thy pomp, thy vainglory, thy pride is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy violence, thy celebration, the worms, the sickness, the disease is spread upon thee, and the worm, and the diseases. Go Obadiah. Let's go teach it. Obadiah. Obadiah, chapter 1, down to 1 down to 4. Hodiah, chapter 1. Come on. 1 down to 4. See ya? Thus said Lord God concerning Edom the rebellious. Chapter 9, verse 2. Remember, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. For 3. Thou pride of thy heart have deceived thee. Thou that dwell in the cliff or the rocks, whose habitation is in height, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? For 4. So thou art thyself as an eagle, though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said the Spirit of God. So, brothers and sisters, this king has made a grave mistake. Like many of us, delaying the cause of this disease. Instead, in our pride, we get puffed up. We get arguing. And through that, we're gonna destroy. Because guess what? We delay the cause of the disease. And when that disease are taken over our body, there can be no more cure. No physician can heal you. No remedy for our sickness. Just as a king, be no remedy for sickness. And he shall suffer till he die. So, brothers and sisters, this is part 3 of the part 4 series. So in part 4, we're going to see the repercussions, the judgment for being a rebellious, for being a prideful king and the people. So, brothers and sisters, this has been Deacon Jonathan from Kingdom Bible University. I want to say a shalom to all. Shalom.